Hello, hello.
Hey, hey, everybody.
Pushed all the buttons.
Not this time.
No,
Last
True.
not
Pushed
this
A
time.
button.
this time, I guess I pushed a button and somebody died.
Yikes. We'll get to that. Oh boy. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about, and we haven't talked at all. Hey Jess, how you
No.
doing?
Which is
Yeah,
great.
this time we kept everything to ourselves till
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually we do have a little like
Discussion.
I feel like it helps us wind down a little at the end of the session and kind of talk a little bit about it. But we did not do that this time because there was quite a lot that happened. It was a very emotional.
Emotion. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. um, so let's just dive right in. I think we do have a couple of questions. We'll wait because I know one of those questions was from Ivy. It was a really good question. So we'll wait and see if she pops in and answer that question for her.
Jess is here though, and she did submit a few.
Okay. Are you going to be hanging out for a bit, Jess? Or do you want us to dive into your questions? Oh, hey, Phoenix. Yeah, I saw in the Discord about your mom. I'm sorry to hear she's in the hospital. I hope everything is okay and she has a speedy recovery of whatever is going on. I'm going to be here. Okay, cool. Well, we'll start out in our usual way, and then we'll start diving into some questions. But let's just talk about our favorite moment. I feel like that's always a fun way to start off on a good note, especially with this episode because yeah, like I think I cried, Finn cried, which is not unusual. Steve cried a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, there was lots of crying happening. So let's start with our favorite moment. We'll start off with a happy moment. And today, Mimsy, you've been voluntold.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
I feel
Wow.
so. I want to thank God and Jesus. Favorite moment. I think it must have been Colette and Alejandro getting somewhat on the same page for the first time in ever, kinda. I think those two getting on the same page, the way they were actually talking to each other on the in the SUV.
Mm-hmm.
Like now we need to start going under, under the camera and under like the top bosses, so to speak, to start finding answers because we cannot trust them. I think that was probably one of my favorite moments this this time.
Yeah, they bonded, but I don't know if it was necessarily for good reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
True.
they were on the same page for once. And like, I think ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they haven't
Like,
really ever been on
ever.
the same page.
No.
So, hey, Don's Country Store. What's up, my friend? How you doing? Yeah. But like I said, I don't know if necessarily for good reasons, but who cares, right? That's just technicalities. Pff.
Mm-hmm.
Ivy,
Mm-hmm.
hello. I'm doing well. I'm a little tired. I got 3 hours of sleep last night. So, yeah. But I'm doing well. We're going to start diving into questions here in just a minute. We're just talking about our favorite moments, and then we're going to, because I think we have a few questions. What about you, Steve? What was your favorite moment? And feel free in the chat, by the way, anytime we are answering questions about the session, you guys feel free to throw your comments in there as well. So if you want to share your favorite moment as well, go for it.
Honestly, it's hard to pick. It's all at the beginning of the episode for sure. If I'd have to say top 3, me
Top
getting
3.
lost.
Wow.
I got lost at the beginning of the episode. That was hilarious.
That was pretty funny.
And then I thought Alejandro was going to get an ass whooping when he went to talk to Colette at the very beginning. I was like, oh, here it comes. Colette's going to punch him. I was actually kind of hoping for that. I think it would have been hilarious. But also,
that would more than likely. The thing is, you say that, but that would have started a fight, and that would more than likely have ended up with someone dying. Cause Baines.
Probably Alejandro. Considering the fact that Penelope and Ashley were there. Let's
we would
be
have
real.
come back and there'd be a dead body. But also the whole
there'd be some ashes.
Some ashes, yeah.
But also like the bookcase scene and touching the arrowhead. I thought that was just funny.
How hot was it? Colette.
He's like, here, touch it.
See, Ivy says, I wasn't there for quite a bit, but out of the ones I was there for, Nick's playing piano and improperly stacked books, killing the vibes. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I remember Ivy.
She's like,
saying like, Nyx is here only for the vibes.
Yeah.
Just like dying.
Yeah. What about you, Finn?
My favorite was the Chamber of Secrets moment for sure. I love when you like put some like weird shit like that in the story. And I mean, to be fair, like that was like the beginning of like the downfall of everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, you know,
sort of
like,
before
okay,
everything went to shit.
Yeah, that was fun. Like my moments with Sparta, with Steve in the car, like, you know, having fun together and like kind of bonding and shit. Like it's always fun as well. I feel like me and Steve's character, like we're having like this bonding moment. Is this like very weird friendship between a Toreador and a Gangrel?
Yeah.
Right? So opposite of each
Very
other.
unusual friendship, but it works so well.
Very unusual friendship, but it works really well. So I've been liking it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the relationship that has blossomed between those two. Because it's like they do that thing where it's like you can communicate telepathically with your best friend just like by giving them a look. And you're like,
yeah,
and you know
like,
exactly what
the
each other's thinking. Like that's the type of friendship they've created, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm like the first person I look at. It's Sparta. Like Sparta, what is happening?
like, this is not good.
I think it's funny too because I feel like Nyx gives Sparta like a little bit more insight than like what he would typically have. Like sometimes I think that he kind of feeds off of Nyx's energy, and he's like, oh wait, something is wrong here, or like something's off here, and like he kind of like picks up on things that maybe he normally wouldn't if they didn't have that sort of like friendship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because he's oblivious to most things.
Yeah, he is usually oblivious to a lot of things going on, but she definitely like, I don't know, gives him this extra sort of insight into what's going on. Yeah, I like their friendship. Favorite moment, I think for me, I think my favorite moment was the switch in Colette.
I knew that you were going to say that.
When Nick showed up and everybody was like, be careful, but maybe you could go have a chat with her, and you like walk in and she's like, hey, what's up?
Nyx is like,
yeah, and Colette was just like, it was like she had just like flipped this switch inside of her.
But also not necessarily fooling Nyx. Nyx is only like keeping a very close eye on her. Being like, bitch, this is the precursor to my TMZ thing.
Yeah, and I don't think that it was even really her goal to like fake it. Like she was just like, I'm not talking about this. You know what I mean? Like I don't even think it was really her intention to be like, I'm going to fool you and like make you think I'm okay, because she very much was wearing her emotions on her face the entire night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was very clear. Yeah, she was just like, we're not doing this. Yeah. We're not having this conversation. Well, you know what I mean? Like she had kind of closed herself off.
With the fact that she lost a point of humanity.
Right.
Like, I think how you played her, even the conversation with Alejandro, oh my god, I fucking swear to God, like I wanted to be there so bad, because like that was like,
conversation would have gone differently.
Well, I don't know if actually, like I was thinking about it, I don't know if Nyx would have interjected a lot in that moment.
She probably just would have made mental notes.
I would be making like heavy mental notes in like red Sharpie.
All caps.
Yeah, all caps, red Sharpie.
Exclamation marks.
Yes, and underlined 2 times.
Oh, your computer died? Rip. Welcome back.
Oh no, rip. Welcome back, Ivy.
But yeah, it's funny because originally, no, we haven't started the question yet. We're wrapping up our favorite moments. Originally, because I knew that at one point Nyx was going to come and try to console her and comfort her and talk to her. So like when I knew that I was going to do that, I had this whole spiel in my head about like her talking about, I think her name is Helena, is what I named her. Can't remember. She was going to talk about her and give this whole story and yada yada and blah 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 blah. And then I was like, I don't think I want one. I wanted there to be some sort of distinct change in her. I wanted to, instead of showcasing like pain and sorrow, I wanted to showcase the disconnect that happens when a vampire loses their humanity. Mm-hmm. And obviously she was in pain and she was sorrowful, like she was feeling sorrow and sadness and everything like that, obviously, and anger. But I was like, in that moment I decided, okay, I want to like do something different. I don't want this just to be sad and her to be sad all night long. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to do that. I was like, this is a big part for her, because she lose a huge conviction, which is protect the innocent from harm, and she did drop a humanity slot. So that's sort of what I wanted to focus on. So that's why I had, when Nyx came in, I had that switch happen. And I was like, okay, I'm going to transition my focus on it to something different and see like if I can showcase this in a different way, which it ended up working, I think.
Yes, it did. You did a great job with it.
She became scary.
Yeah, she became kind of scary, yeah.
yeah, a little bit cold and harsh, but not like in a mean way. Just in that like, ooh, that makes me feel uncomfy way.
Yeah. I mean, okay, you never said that. You probably never thought that
Yeah.
until now.
Yeah.
And that scares the fuck out of me, bitch. Like, I don't know who you are. That's why I
Yeah.
was like, who the hell is that?
What happened to
Right?
Colette?
It's like, who's this stranger that
Who
replaced
is
her?
that? Who is that person right now?
I would love to see like um Sparta and Nyx's reaction to Colette saying we might have to start working a little bit more underground and not ask directly for questions and just go and find the answers.
I don't know if Sparta would go for that because he has definitely been pro Camarilla. He's been pro for the city for since the beginning.
Hmm.
Like Sparta and Alejandro almost got in a fight over it.
Well, for Nyx, like, she thought about it. She was like, hey, like, I think I said it, like, last time or, like, the time before, like, should we leave this city? Like, I literally was
Let's
like,
go to
can we
Mexico.
leave?
Let's go to Mexico.
Can we go somewhere else? Like, find a better place where, like, we're not threatened by, like, shadow monsters and hell spawns and some shit? Is that a possibility? Like, can we do a transfer? Can we transfer somewhere else?
I'd like to put in for a transfer.
This school is not my vibe, okay?
Effective
This county
immediately.
Is not my effective immediately. So like the thing with Nyx is that like she's so new, she could just like be like, okay, I'm just fleet the fuck out of here, bitch. Like, the fuck? Excuse me? Like, where am I going? I'm not staying here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe ask, like, somebody and be like, hey, like, where is another city that I could go to? Like, she would probably, like, go to the West Coast, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she knows the West Coast a lot. She did a lot of, like, stuff in, like, California for the movies and stuff like that. So, like, she would probably just, like, go over there. But again, like, that
chilling in
doesn't
LA.
make the story.
Boring.
Like, excuse me, boring.
Okay, well, Nyx
So,
left.
you know.
New character.
Nyx left.
Right?
Sabine is coming. That's my
The bean.
Caucasian. Sabine.
Oh,
Sabine.
I thought you said the bean. I was like,
The bean. Yes, the bean
What?
is coming.
The bean.
Sabine the bean is coming.
Sabine the bean. Okay.
I just have an image of Mr. Bean in my head.
Yeah,
now, but mixed with big
my mind
glasses.
went weird places. Alrighty. Let's dive into one of these questions that we have. You can pick whatever one you want.
I mean, there's like some like cute ones that are easy to answer.
Yeah.
I feel like
You can just
there's
read one out.
that says by Jess, it's if your character were an animal, would they be? And we can start with Steve with this one because he's gonna have to think about this anyway, and he probably decided already.
So I have already decided. I am going to be a giant black cat, a panther to be exact.
Yeah.
Which,
And
fun
that is
fact,
coming soon.
he is the only one that can actually turn into an animal. So he can literally be an animal.
Yeah, no, the cool thing about gangrels is that they have like at the third or fourth, I don't remember, third I think level, they can shapeshift to an animal as big as their own body mass.
And
So
Sparta's
like a
pretty big.
big ass wolf or a
Mhm.
big ass cat. It's usually like a hunter because obviously vampires are predators, so they usually like naturally can bond with the essence of predatory animals, right? Makes sense. But I think I would be like Nyx would be like an ocelot or something like that, like a medium-sized cat because she's not that big. She's like tiny. but she's very elegant and like she's a cat. She has cat's great. She's very fast. Maybe a cheetah because cheetahs are tinier. They're smaller.
Yeah, they are smaller.
Yeah, a cheetah. She would be a cheetah.
And yeah, that would fit perfectly because you're already fast as hell.
Yeah, yeah. Nyx would be a cheetah. There you go.
A giant wasp.
That would be terrifying.
That is hilarious. I literally pictured it. I was
Both of those would be terrifying.
That would be terrifying.
Terrifying.
Big ol' scorpion.
Dying.
Colette.
I guess it could be like a huge serpent. That was another like option in there, like a anaconda or a huge boa constrictor. Yeah.
Oh god, that freaks me out. I don't like snakes. They gave me the heebie-jeebies. The first thing that came into my mind, so I'm just gonna stick with it, is an alligator for Colette. I don't know why.
It would suit the city.
It would fit New Orleans. No one would bat an eye if they saw an alligator randomly. They'd be like, "Oh wow, looks like someone's lost." I mean, I lived in Florida and it was the same way. We used to there were crocodiles and alligators everywhere. Alligators usually there's not a lot of crocodiles. There is a difference, but yeah, I mean it'd be normal if in your neighborhood lake there was crocodiles. So I don't know why that was the first thing that came to my head. So alligator. Chomp chomp.
That's cute. Yum.
Alligators are the thing about alligators. I feel like they're so judged, but they're very protective, and people just see them as predators. But they're not necessarily. I mean, they are obviously like to other animals, but they don't seek out like they're like sharks. Sharks get a bad rep too. People like get attacked by a shark at the beach, and they're like, "Oh my god, sharks are bad, kill them." And I'm like, you kind of were swimming in their home. You deserved it.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes for alligators. People they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I got attacked by an alligator next to a lake." And I'm like, that's kind of their house.
That's kind of where they stay though.
And you were kind of like in their backyard.
What did you expect?
Charcuterie. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't understand people. People are stupid when it comes to nature. But
I ate both gator and shark.
Yes, they are.
Gator is actually delish.
Yes, it
Gator
is.
taters.
it would be a
are
charcuterie
amazing.
board.
Gator taters are awesome.
Gator tater.
Shark meat is weird.
I like to say gator tater because that's fun.
It's a little bit like
gummy,
tougher, not tougher, but gummier, yeah. And it's like almost like an in between fish and meat because it's a little bit tougher. It's not like as soft as fish, but it's not as like kind of like tough as like a meat, like a beef or whatever. It's really weird.
It would be a crow caca. You're the crow that lives in the crow lady's head. It's Jess. I've decided.
She's the keeper of the safe word.
Yes, she is the keeper of the safe word. Caca, caca. Oh. What about Alejandro? What would he be?
That's the thing, like, thinking about the story and how he pisses people off, I'm going to say a flat out mosquito.
Oh.
Yes. Perfect.
So good, but yes.
No.
If the shark was the animal I turned into, it would be a shark that can walk and just instantly suffocate if it wasn't in water.
Oh my god, that Simpsons reference though, Ivy. I recognize that reference immediately. Halloween episode from The Simpsons, Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
You could have a little water bubble around your head so then you could breathe. when you transform into a shark, you just instantly have a water bubble. Floop, and your head's in water. And it magically stays there. Just an idea. Could you imagine you turn into like a some sort of water animal and you're just like flopping on the ground?
Yes.
Totally
That would be so
ineffective.
inconvenient,
Yeah.
so ineffective.
Like a shark astronaut, exactly. Tuke, figure your shit out, bro.
He's like, Mom, shut up.
Look at his face.
He's giving you the look.
He's giving you the look. Like,
Meow.
he said, "Meow,
Meow.
Oh,
meow."
boy.
I see his little mouth moving. I
Meow.
couldn't hear him, but I saw him.
He literally went meow. Meow. Yeah? What's wrong? You feeling sassy today? Little sassy ass. Anyway.
Sharknaut. I can't.
Yeah, you can be a shark astronaut. Just flopping around everywhere. Exactly. Just
It's very
like, hold on,
ineffective.
guys, I got
It
this.
will not work out. I don't think
Like,
it's a very good idea.
that's not gonna work for us right now.
No.
The one place that would work is if you guys happen to be in the middle of the ocean, then sure, yeah, turn into a shark and maybe you'll help us. Oh, that's interesting to think that you could have a whole underwater fighting scene and it wouldn't even phase vampires because they don't need to breathe.
True.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going on an underwater adventure. It's happening.
That would be kind of terrifying, but yeah. Well, they can go underwater. They just like need some weights to keep them down. I guess they would sink because they're not.
Yeah, I
breathing.
was gonna
There's nothing
say
there.
there would.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they
not
would
full
just
of air.
naturally
They would
sink.
just-
Yeah, there wouldn't. There, I'm like, oh yeah, there's no air because they don't have lungs. Like their lungs are shriveled, and unless they activate the fucking
What is it? Blush of life.
blush of life.
Then they can be humanish for a
Ish.
little while. Yeah, ish. It's not even really
Ish.
like a
No,
human.
they get a little bit of like blush in their cheeks and like look a little bit more alive.
They
I
have
guess,
warmth to their body.
Yeah, but makeup. That's what Nyx does every night. She just puts some makeup and blush.
Make myself look like a human.
Make myself look human and
Come here,
healthy,
Colette.
not like I'm anemic
Yeah.
and half and dead. But yeah. So apparently I didn't know, but the second fastest felines are jaguars. The first one is cheetah, 58 miles per hour, and a jaguar goes 50 miles per hour.
That's
wow.
scary.
So not that much slower than a cheetah,
cheetah.
to be fair. It's like 93 kilometers per hour for the cheetah and 80 for the jaguar. Super interesting. Lion too. Lion and jaguar at 80 kilometers per hour, 50 miles per hour.
Man, big cats are so fast.
Yeah, dude. Can
Terrifying.
you imagine? Like you're like, they run as fast as your car. It's like a regular car in like a regular city street. Like the fucking thing is just freaking.
Well, as an alligator, I can run 35 miles per hour.
That's still pretty fucking fast.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And alligators can jump. Alligators can jump the length of their body. Did you know that? Alligators are terrifying, yo. Literally growing up as a child, I was learned. Good English, Jenna. Fucking bravo. I am proud of you. I was taught how to get away from alligators. That was literally something we learned.
Zigzag, no?
Yeah, you zigzag and you climb trees. If there's
Yeah.
a tree around you, you climb a tree.
Get high ground. Get high ground.
Yeah, literally.
Right?
Because they can't turn
can't-
fast enough
Yeah, they
to
can't
keep
turn
you in
left
their
enough
vision.
and they don't see like up.
Yeah. So yeah, alligators are scary, dude.
Yeah, I grew up in like Brazil, so we have gators and crocodiles in the rivers. So yeah, I got taught the same thing. If you see something like that, like zigzag, and go up,
Yeah.
go vertical.
Usually they don't chase you.
No,
Like I
they
said,
like to stay in their territory
yeah,
too.
if you
So
get
like,
into their territory and they're threatened
Mhm.
by you, then they'll try to attack you, but usually they just want you to leave them alone.
yeah, animals don't necessarily want. If the animals are attacking you, it's usually because they're threatened by us.
It's usually
more
because
than
you
anything
did
else.
something wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It's not because they're like, oh, I'm hungry. This asshole is here. Let's
This
die.
asshole is here. This guy looks good. Let's get him.
Exactly.
This guy looks tasty. Sure, let's do it.
If you provoke them, they'll attack. But if you get like outside of their range in those first few seconds, they're not going to keep chasing after
Yeah.
you. They're just going to give up.
Yeah.
Yeah, even because they're still like they're there for a reason. Like they're
Mhm.
attacking you for a reason. Like that's their territory, that's their turf. Like you're in the invader.
Right.
So like if the threat is out, like they're not gonna waste energy,
Yeah.
right? Because
Nope.
energy is important.
How would
And
you
they're
feel if
cold-blooded.
someone just stumbled into your living room? I'd be a little pissed too.
Exactly. I would be pissed too.
I'd
Exactly.
be like, bro, I was taking a nap.
Exactly. Like, bruh. Bruh.
Mimsy, I'm gonna fly swat you.
Why?
Fucking mosquito.
Honestly,
That's funny.
though, like the second shape shifting thing is you could break into like a swarm of flies or something.
Can you really? Like a whole
Yeah,
swarm,
I
not just a
think
single
so.
one?
Took stuff.
No, you wouldn't be a single one. I think you can like
I have no
become
idea.
insects. I don't remember, but yeah, it's like the classic Dracula thing where like you break into like 1,000 bats or whatever. I don't
Just freak the whole coterie out. All of a sudden, Sparta turns into a giant flock of bats. And Nyx will just say, I told you the movies were real.
Exactly. I would love you like, Dracula had it right. Francis Ford Coppola knew. Is he an insider?
So
Do you want to do another question?
I was gonna
Yes.
talk about what happened in the episode.
Go ahead.
So after we left the house, where did we go?
What do you mean?
I can't remember what we did when we all left the house.
So we left the house. We went to Elysium.
we went to Ronaldo's.
Ronaldo's and then
Yeah,
Elysium.
yeah.
And then we went to
So what do you guys
Chamber of Secrets. Yes.
when you guys went to the barn, what speculations do you guys have about what may have been going on inside there with their voodoo shit?
Okay. I think that it might have been, well, no, because he would have turned to ash because the whole ward got removed, and we know that Imani and Colette or Imani and Catalina went there. So I'm wondering if they captured August and Tremere are doing some kind of voodoo shit on him.
True. That could be it. Because like we went back to the place underneath the bridge and the ward disappeared, and like we were speculating as characters that might be because like the person that made it got taken out.
But maybe
Or-
they're doing some experiments on him, and that's how the ward got removed.
Yeah, that could be it. I honestly at this point I don't trust no bitch. I'm like, Ronaldo, are you fucking turning the cheek? Like, what is going on? Like, what is happening? Are you involved in this? Like, I honestly that still I don't know. I have no idea. But I'm like, he better not be doing some shit for the fucking like twins, Vincent and Violet. But I hope not, because I really like Ronaldo. I don't want him to be
True.
one of the bad guys.
I don't know though. I feel like Imani was in that barn, and Imani, I doubt, would be
I
involved
feel
with
like
that.
Imani was with Catalina.
True, it could be as well. Well, no, because Catalina. Well, I guess she could have been in the back because Catalina came out to stare at us while we were talking with Lindsay. So if Imani was with her, I wouldn't. I would think that she would be out in that central meeting area with her.
Yeah. What about you, Memsy? What do you think?
I mean, at first for a second, I thought it was they were trying to heal Liv, or it was Lindsay. But obviously, both those theories went flying after we went to Elysium and well, well, the other place. So now, it's like I want to say that it's August, or maybe even Travis.
I don't know if it would
This
be Travis, because Travis, from what I remember in this episode, he wasn't, or at least
he
nobody told
disappeared.
us that he had reappeared or they had found him again.
One of the the things that Lindsay said that they never got so far, and that leaves also the speculation like, is he alive or is he dead? Did he get away?
Mhm. I thought Lindsay said that he was
Was
nowhere
in
to be
hiding or
found.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She didn't say that. She said she
no,
didn't know where he was.
Oh,
yeah. I remember that like he wasn't found, from what like I know. Like they didn't know where he was.
Mm. And
So
the speculations are literally who the hell is that fucking body?
right.
Phoenix. We'll get to that,
Who the
Phoenix. You missed quite a lot, my friend.
oh, Phoenix, you need to like go and watch it. Like you need to go watch the end, like the third half of the stream, because yeah.
Yeah. It was a gut punch for sure.
um yeah, so they don't necessarily know if or where Travis is. But the thing is too is how forthcoming with information are they going to be? Just
Oh
So
yeah, that's
because
far,
also another thing, right?
yeah, just
they don't tell us
because
shit.
yeah, just because Lindsay's like we don't know where they are, is that the truth?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Um especially with how weird Catalina was being and sort
Yeah,
of
she was
like
being super weird.
watching the conversation and things like that. Like who knows what like Lindsay was told or allowed to say, you know what I mean?
Yep. I feel like also that the way she was just eyeballing us down that whole conversation, I feel like she was checking to make sure like we weren't trying to pass any information to her too or something, or like she was being sus of us, like we might be involved.
Mhm.
Because clearly Lindsay's in trouble.
Yeah, something's going on with Lindsay for sure. Uh I liked the little conversation that Nyx and Catalina had. Nyx is like, should we trust Lindsay? Catalina's like, why wouldn't you trust Lindsay? Tell me more.
Right.
But yeah.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see where that goes.
If we see where that goes. There's so many things that I'm like, the thing is there's probably going to be so many questions that aren't answered. Even though, like, I will do my best to try to... Wait, what? Colette being shifty. What do you mean? Like, I'll try to answer all of the questions, but there probably won't be enough time. There's too many, like, side things to wrap up the story, and, like, do it in a way that answers all of the questions is not gonna happen. There'll definitely still be, like, questions at the end of it, which is a good thing in a way.
True.
Gives potential for future things to happen. I don't know if Colette was being shifty.
We're like traumatized at the moment.
Colette is... I would imagine, although the disconnect for vampires with their humanity is typically gradual, something like this, like losing your touchstone, you drop a lot of humanity all at once. And I feel like they would feel that more than, like, the gradual effect. You know what I mean? Because with the way that it works, like, on your actual character sheet, is you drop, like, a whole box of humanity. So I feel like that is a lot of a bigger impact suddenly than, like, a gradual over time of losing your humanity.
Definitely.
Talking about everyone all suspiciously. Yeah. And behind their backs. Yeah. She was definitely doing that. She was throwing some shade.
Well, there was a question. I don't know what you guys are talking about right now, but there was a question from Jess, like, just an explanation, maybe an easier explanation for what humanity is and what it means, because I feel like it can be a little hard to grasp, like, what it is. It's here for Kindred. How does the humanity thing work? I've heard Jenna mention that over time Kindred will lose their humanity.
Yeah. So we talked about this last podcast. So basically the way that humanity works is humanity stands for, like, how in touch with their human life they are. So we were talking about Catalina, who is almost 600 years old. Her human life was she was 23 when she was turned. So 23 years of her existence, that is almost 600 years, was her being a human. So for 500 some years, she hasn't been a human and hasn't been a part of human society, human traditions, anything like that. She's been immersed in this underground world with all of these supernatural beings for 500 some years. Exactly. So her life is like a speck of sand. So basically, the longer you're alive, the further away you get from those, like, tethers to what a human experiences in life, the feeling of being a human, the emotional ties, things like that. You are getting further and further and further and further away from that the longer that you live. With humanity, the way that we're dealing with it when you lose a touchstone is your touchstone. So the way for this version, they added touchstones and convictions. These things help make your characters more human-like, so to speak. They have touchstones that are living humans that are usually of some sort of significance to them, family members, whatever, people that maybe they idolized or something along those lines. And with each touchstone comes a conviction. So, for example, Colette's touchstone was her lover from her past, and her conviction that was tied to that was protect the innocent from harm. So that touchstone, that human relationship she had, helped remind her, so to speak, of like what it meant to be a human. And it kept her tied to that. But when that person died, Ashley is her name? No, Ashley is Kindred, and she's not.
No. She's asking. So
She's
Colette
definitely not
would
innocent.
be less attached to her current girlfriend. I don't
No,
think
I'm
so.
talking to Jess. Ashley is not who I'm referring to.
That is another thing.
Yeah,
It's a
Ashley
completely
is her
different relationship
kindred
because it's
girlfriend.
a kindred relationship. It's another completely different dynamic, possibly based off of like different things too.
No, she's not. No. To answer your question, Phoenix, not necessarily. That doesn't.
Because they still feel, even if they lose part of their humanity.
Yeah.
They just feel differently.
Well, I mean, Colette's relationship with Ashley has nothing to do with her humanity. She's just in a relationship with her. Colette's past lover, that was from her human life, and that was her like touchstone.
Yeah, need to understand that like kindred relationships are also another thing of their own. Like a romantic relationship between kindred will not look like a human romantic relationship. The dynamics are slightly different. There are definitely things. It's a romantic relationship still, but it's between two supernatural creatures rather than like being formed between two humans, right?
It's not tied to humanity. And they can still have friends and stuff like that. It's just different.
Yeah. Because Catalina still has her relationships too. Like she's really good friends with Imani. Like we've seen it over and over and over again. It's not they're just like pieces of like ancient stone that are completely like.
It's not that they're incapable of relationships. Yeah. It's just, okay, let's put it this way. If anything, their relationship with other kindred are probably stronger because they relate to kindred, whereas they don't relate to humans.
Yeah.
So their relationships with kindred would be the same exact as human relationships, friendships, love, whatever, family. You see the family ties that you have, all of that. You can't put that under humanity. That's not what we're talking about here. That's just pure emotion. Humanity of what we're talking about here is their actual connection to the human world and human society. That's what we mean when we say humanity. There is an aspect of that goes with human morals, things like that, because that's one thing that we were talking about with Catalina. People are like, oh, that's so harsh that like Catalina would just kill Nyx. Not in this world. In a human society, according to human morals, absolutely. They don't think on that like level of human morals. They have their own set of morals as kindred, if they have morals.
Like the chain, predatory chain, animal chain, right? Like we as humans are on the top of the chain. arguably, but like we are still like on the top, right? Because we have a more developed brain. Think about vampires being on the step
Above that.
on top above. So like they're completely different creatures. Yes, they were humans, but they're kindred. They're not humans anymore.
Yeah.
So as you pass time, you disconnect for a reason or another, and like in this system, like they use touchstones, which are people that were part of like their human lives and prevalent, and then taught them again the ethical moral systems that they believe in. But as time progresses, as that fades away, you become more of that beast.
Yeah, more of a kindred, a vampire.
Yeah.
And that's what drives you. That's what your ethics and moral code become
from.
Right, become attuned to, instead of your human life and the human society and the human way of doing things. You detach from that. And the reason for that, I mean, that goes with any type of grief. I was worried she was break away from Ashley. I mean, that's just grief. People close themselves off when they're grieving. That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with her humanity. And
it's just her personality.
Yeah,
literally.
it's just her pushing everyone away because she's grieving and she's angry. The spotlight of her losing her humanity was showcased in the car with Alejandro when he was feeling really shameful about his decisions the night before and like leaving all of those people behind, and she's like, fuck it, we gotta survive. Like, you know, that was showcasing that effect on her humanity.
Yeah,
because she's like,
you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah, like, who cares, whatever.
Because she lost that. Like, if she didn't lose that person and Alejandro made that comment in the car, she would probably be like acting very different towards that, because she does share the same conviction. She did share the same conviction before her past partner died.
Yeah, so them losing their humanity, let's put it this way, them losing their humanity doesn't make them incapable of maintaining relationships. That's
or
not
loving.
Yeah, or
feeling emotions.
I mean, because look at Catalina. Catalina absolutely loves her family. You can tell. She loves the people that she's close to. You can just tell by her actions and how she acts and the things that she's done for the city. So, and that's the oldest person in our campaign, like with the lowest humanity. So it doesn't necessarily affect their ability to maintain relationships. It affects their connection to the human world.
Yeah. It's like, for example, if Catalina had to like bomb a whole like building full of like 50 plus people in there for one kindred, she would probably do it in a blink of an eye without thinking about it. She's like, well, we could cover it as like, you know, a pipe blew and like the building blew up with it. It's fine. It is what it is. She would not even blink at that. Whereas like if Nyx had to make that decision, she would probably be haunted by it for a long time.
Yeah.
And on the other end of that, Sparta probably wouldn't have as much issue with it. But that's because of different convictions and how they do things.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's a good way to put it, because I don't want people to think that like, oh, old vampires are just like these stone cold creatures. They are to a certain extent, but they do have the ability to love and be loving and friendly and things like that.
Think about it. If they didn't, they wouldn't be able to like, Catalina wouldn't have been able to maintain her position as prince.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because at the end of the day, especially such a high position and such a like she's probably a target all the time, because we're seeing it here, right?
And this isn't the first time this has happened. Ashley touched on that. This is not the first time this has happened with these particular people as well, You know what I mean? Like she said, she's probably often a target. People are probably constantly coming for her in her position because that's how kindred are. They're cutthroat. They're power hungry. They want all the power and the glory, and so when you're at a high
want to be
position,
the top predator
yeah,
within their own territories.
Even kindred want to surround themselves with people they trust.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, if you want to be there, you need to like form strong bonds.
right, yeah, and strong relationships with people.
Yeah.
So yeah,
With your loyal subjects.
or just make everybody listen to you. I guess that,
Exactly.
that
Like, I mean, there's like
that would
different
get
ways
old,
of
though.
going about it.
Yeah, but that's. I mean, I'm sure there's been a mix of the two for Catalina. I'm sure she's had her fair share of people she's made do things, but she does have a lot of real relationships in her life, and you can see that. Like Nick said, even with Imani, you can see it several times, and even with Ashley and Penelope, and
Ronaldo, even from the
yeah,
beginning
all sorts of stuff. So you can see the showcase of relationships and different types of relationships, love, friendship, family. It's all there.
Mm-hmm.
Kindred sex. Kindred don't actually have sex. They can't.
Yeah.
They can't feel pleasure.
Yeah.
That's that's a
body is
human
meant-
thing.
Your organs don't work. Like, you can choose to make them work. Like, for example, as a predator style like mine, for Nyx, I have Siren. She enjoys feeding in like a pleasurable way, but she's not enjoying the act.
She's enjoying the feeding. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, she does all the extra shit because she likes more that style rather than like the style that Sparta has, which is like wrestling around and like literally hunting your prey,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Exactly.
Is
Yep.
it Alley Cat?
Yeah.
Yep, Alley Cat.
You're a little
So
rough.
like, they
You're
like
like,
the taste.
yeah.
You rough them up. You like let them run. They like the taste of the adrenaline and the fear in the blood, and that's what drives them to feed in that way.
Yeah.
Like my character Nyx likes to feed in a context where people are having a pleasurable time, which makes so much sense because she's a Toreador. So like for me, that like type of predatory style was like the most obvious, honestly. So the pleasure comes from the kiss, which is like the bite. So that's the only thing that they can feel pleasure from, like
Pleasure.
that is comparable to like, you know, a sexual pleasure.
It's not even, so to put it this way is, I think this is how I sort of see it and translate it because of all the different predator styles and like what they do and different things like that. What they're really getting the pleasure from is the emotion that is within that person that is fueling the blood. And when they feed on them, they feel that emotion. They feel that anger, the pain, or this or whatever. Because there's all sorts of different predator styles that do different things. Like her, like she said, the people that Nyx is feeding on, they're feeling pleasure. So when she feeds on them, she is that emotion in that person. She's getting that from them. Whereas like alley cats, they like usually like their prey will probably be scared or frightened. So they like their prey. That's what gives them pleasure, is their prey being afraid of them. And that is pleasurable for them. So it's like there's different things that are happening that affects like the human blood that taste good, if that makes sense. So that's sort of where kindred can really even get any sort of pleasure, is from feeding in that kind of moment. So yeah, I mean, sex is a human thing. You need a human body that's functioning to do that, and their bodies are not functioning, so there's no connect between genitals and brain anymore. So
There are like a few exceptions with thin bloods and vampires with humanity higher than 8,
mhm.
which is
Right.
extremely rare.
That doesn't really happen.
Yeah. So,
Kindred horny jail is very different.
yeah.
Yes.
Very.
It's a little complicated.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's different. And that's why that goes back to like what Nix was saying with like relationships. Kindred relationships are a lot different than any type of human relationship. You're not going to have the same aspects of a relationship that you would have in like a human relationship.
Yeah, you're not looking at your partner and being like, yeah, I'm gonna bang that later. Like, that's not
That's
the
probably
point.
never crossed their minds.
Probably never crossed their minds.
They
No.
don't think like that.
No.
And like when Nick's like when I'm always asking, is there somebody that is attractive? It's literally because Toreadors are obsessed with beauty.
Yeah. It's not
So
because she's like horny.
Yeah,
It's just because
exactly.
she likes nice looking
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, it's just because that is the first thing that a Toreador will notice is symmetry, beauty, like specific aesthetic, like, you know, stuff like that. Like it's like, I guess it's the art connoisseur, right? Like, what do they see? They see the symmetry in things. They see the beauty in things. So like that's the first thing that she's gonna notice. She's gonna meet somebody. She's like, I'm like, yo, Jenna,
They're
are
attractive.
they cute? Are they hot? And she will always pick the hot ones, always. And that's not because she wants to have sex with them.
It's just because of the makeup of who she is as a kindred. Let's dive into one of the other questions.
Okay.
And then we'll
Ivy
dive into
actually
the heavy stuff.
had
Oop.
that
Buckle
great
up.
question.
Yes, she did have a great question.
So
my
she
God.
said, just wondering if you each have notes pulled up during the RP about your characters or the story while you play, to jog your memory about your characters and what's happened, or if you do it all by memory.
Who wants to go first?
I guess I can go first. As a player, because it's different. For me and for Jenna is different. It's a different thing. I know one thing, which is the story of my character and the development of my character. So sometimes, for example, like some shit will come up in role play where like I add a missing piece of the information that I have from Nyx's past, and I add it in there because it came up in an RP. And the same way, I'm always building towards the future, but I just think it's like, I guess it's like an acting thing. Like I'm always like thinking before we start, like I'm always like putting my contacts and my wig, and it's like a little ritual that Nyx would do every day. She wakes up, she takes a shower, which I do before the RP usually, comes over here, does her makeup, put her things on, and that's kind of like my way of like getting in character, if you may. Getting ready for Fenice to leave for a second and be Nyx for, you know, however long. So the notes are there, and I do add to them. Like you see the notepad come up sometimes. Like I have my questions, the things that I want to like explore in games, ideas for later. But I don't have a script, if you may. It's all like informations that I gather through my character, and I live through my character. Hence why like I'm always crying. Drama is real. Like it does affect me. And yeah, I guess like the thing that I have it in front of me is my character sheet, just to remember like certain things, like just to remind me, oh, okay, like yeah, like I have this, or I can use this, or like, oh, with a second, like the conviction for the 15 people down there. I was like, immediately, I was like, wait, I think my conviction would probably like not allow my character to act that way. So like, no, that's actually important. But otherwise, no, it's not scripted for me, and it's mainly by memory. I sometimes go and like watch certain parts of the RP for like conversations, like certain conversations, if I need it, but usually no.
I'll go next. I did at the beginning when I thought I had a clear idea of what I wanted Sparta to be, but that quickly went out the window like episode 2 after Sparta took a left turn and turned into just the chaos button pusher. So I know how generally how he'll act just by personality, but the fact is Jenna might throw something at me and Sparta will push a button. So I have he is basically chaos. So any of my notes would be useless at the beginning of the campaign, like the episode, because he'll do something random that you're not expecting. So I don't keep notes up. I will go back and watch the VOD, and if I notice something or if I have a question that I want to ask, I'll write it down. But during the actual episode, no, I'll have my character sheet up, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Can you read the question one more time?
Yeah, of course. Just wondering if you have notes pulled up during RP about your characters or the story while you play, and jog your memory about your characters and what happens, or if you do it all by memory.
Okay.
Mims?
Spacing out a little bit. I honestly listened to the last episode either the day before or while I'm sleeping. I don't have anything pulled up. Everything is just muscle memory, and it's kind of like with Fen as well. Like I get into the same kind of like the same routine an hour before we start the stream. I start getting ready, do my hand wash, get my contacts in, get the wig, get all of that stuff, and I'm in character, and I'm gonna be playing. Which, with what happened last week, I wasn't. I was nearly crying, but I knew like Alejandro isn't a crier necessarily. So like, no, 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 no,
It's like
no.
Jenna. It's like Jenna when she's like, Fen, stop.
Yeah.
Stop it,
I
Fen.
can't look at you.
Don't
I
look
can't
at
look at
Finn's
you right now
screen.
because Lindsay she would not cry right now. Stop it. He said that
um.
so many times.
Yeah.
So, but I normally just jog my muscle memory when it comes to what happened last time, and by listening to it, either awake or asleep, because that's pretty much how I do it, at least.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And again, I think for a storyteller is a little bit different because we're players. We're not.
I'm done.
Bless you.
No.
Bless you.
Okay, swallowed my spit weird. Yeah, storyteller is a lot different, I think. Just to answer on like a player level, because obviously I've role played in other aspects. I think that the longer you play a character, the more you understand them. Like for instance, I played my character on GTA for roughly 4 years, and her reacting to things and like how I interacted with people just became second nature because I understood who she was as a character. And the longer that you play a character, the easier and faster you'll be able to do that, because it just becomes second nature to you. You become that character, so to speak. And that's the beauty of role play. It's improv acting. You're pretending to be a character. And that's what you have to sort of train your brain is, I'm not Jenna right now. I'm Colette, or I'm whoever I'm playing, and I have to react how this character would react. And you become familiar with that. For storytelling, it's a lot different because I wear a lot of hats. I play a lot of characters. In one session, I might play 10 characters. So it's a lot of, for me, it's a lot of me just having to make sure that I know my characters. I just have a lot more to know than a player where they're only focusing on one character, and, you know, I'm creating an entire city of people. And that's why sometimes you'll see me sort of pause and be like, would Lindsay do this? Would Lindsay say this? Like, because I'm thinking about that particular character in that moment, and I want to make sure that I portray them in the correct way. So the process for me, I feel like, is a lot different. When it comes to Colette, I know her already. I know who Colette is. I have envisioned her life. I've envisioned her experiences. I know who she is and have become familiar with her. Whereas like all of the other characters, I might not have that close of a connection to, because we only see them for small little snippets. You know what I mean? Whereas Colette is there usually the entire session. I don't keep any. I do keep. That's a lie. I do keep notes up. I have lots of notes, extensive notes of every NPC character, which were actually, I think it was the last podcast, Phoenix asked if we would do like post like bios for like all of the characters and stuff. And we have a Discord for our new Twitch and channel, everything that we're launching. And I've started to post like little backstory type things in there. But so I have lots of notes of characters, what they look like, what their lives were like, how old they are, everything like that, that goes way beyond character sheets. And usually what I'll do is, if my process is a lot different because I'm setting up the session for like what's going to happen for everyone. Before I used to make a lot of notes, which we were talking about last week. But I've come to find that I do better and I enjoy it more when I go into the session with not really any idea of what's going to happen. I have like a small idea. The thing is like, I know where we're going. I know the end, and I'm just trying to like get us there. So I just let the role play take us where we're going to go. That's kind of the way of doing it I've adopted. Is I know the end. Let's get there, and I'll throw in what we need to throw in to get closer to that goal. That's sort of what's better for me, I think. It doesn't feel as constricting, and it doesn't feel as rehearsed for me, and scripted. It lets me kind of live in the moment, live in the role play, and I can be immersed along with you guys as well. Because if I have too much planned, then it's not necessarily fun for me to be along on the journey, because I'm like, okay, well, I know what's around every corner. Like a lot of this shit I just make up off the top of my head, and it is more fun that way. And I feel more creative, and I mean, you guys wouldn't probably know the difference, but for me, I can feel the difference. It's more fun and creative.
I think it's more important to have like more structured quote unquote notes at the beginning. But then once we're already on a journey, especially after like midway, like you know the end. But again, like everything at that point has been built by like the characters interacting with what you threw, you know, to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like having again a plan, like we're going to this place, we're going to that place, we're and this is gonna happen, that's not gonna happen. It, like Jenna said, it takes away the beauty of like it being a fluid thing. It's like an organic thing. It just, you know.
It takes away the improv.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, role play is all improv, even if you're a storyteller.
Yeah. So, what does the character usually have? So I'll put it on the screen. It'll be over our faces
I
for a
have
moment.
not. Well, I posted the link if
Well,
they want to
that's
follow
fine.
it too.
So this is a lot different than like
Oh, we're seeing
what we're
Catalina's.
talking about. Yeah, you guys can see what Catalina is made of. I picked her on purpose.
Holy shit.
So here, this first part, you have attributes up here, and this is all, it's separated into 3: physical, social, mental. Then you have skills. So these are different things that they can be good at and have specialties in and different things like that. And then you have disciplines. And the disciplines are like their actual powers, like what they can do.
Sheesh.
Then if you come down to the bottom, I don't have any of this filled out for any of my characters because it's just a bunch of shit that I don't need necessarily for like these characters. For like a player character sheet, this would all be filled in as well. But for storyteller characters, you don't need to fill this shit in unless you just want to, in my opinion. All of this stuff sort of exists in my notes in a certain form. So that's sort of how it will look whenever it's filled out. Is you, and there are certain like, see, I don't even have her health and willpower and shit. I'm like, I don't need this shit on here. There's so many things sort of on my storyteller character sheets, like all of this shit isn't filled in and stuff like that. But this is sort of how it will look like when you fill it in and where everything goes. But a character sheet, so we have those up, and this helps us, all of these dots here, like if I said, okay, roll a wits and awareness, that would be 9 dice for Catalina. So that's how you track that. When I'm telling them to roll things, this is what they look at. They look at their statistics on their character sheets, and they pick however many dice according to what I've told them to roll.
Yeah.
So that's sort of what the character sheet is there for, is to tell you what to roll for whatever your storyteller tells you or whatever mechanic you're trying to do. And they get every month, they get experience points that they can fill in their character sheet, and they can get more skills or attributes or disciplines or whatever. And there's obviously like a whole guideline of how to fill in it. So that's sort of how it will look whenever it's filled in. So we have those up. But then in regards to any notes or anything, like my notes are more based off of like what type of personality that character has, if that makes sense. Those are the type of notes that I would have. What kind of person they are, what do they look like, things like that. That are outside of character sheet, which I actually do think the character sheet even has a spot for. Does it have a spot? Yeah. Appearance and distinguishing features. So even that has that. I guess technically my character sheet is my birth chart.
Yes.
But
yeah, for example, I have like a few notes right here. Like I take like things like from one of the beginning ones. I have like notes from like the hints that we get. So like I put it down while we do it so that I don't remember. like so that I remember if they don't come up later, and if I need to bring them up around next episode. I have again like stuff like that, and I just like put like a little it's like pinning something, pinning a thought
Yeah.
that might be important, and because I have ADHD, I will
Yeah.
forget probably.
Honestly, like note taking in tabletop roleplay is important because it's not the storyteller's job to remind you of everything. And sometimes I'll make them roll. Be like, oh, well, we'll see if you can remember this. If you didn't write it down in a note and you don't know for sure, it's not necessarily on me to remind you of what happened. That's, because that's not how real life works. It's not like you have this little like fairy godmother that follows you around everywhere and is like, yeah, this is what happened. Don't you remember, Jenna? Like, no, that's not how life works.
I used to do the same thing. If they didn't remember, I would have an intelligence roll.
Yeah.
Needed a certain amount of whatever, and yep.
So,
if you roll okay, then like I'll tell you. If not, unfortunately, that you don't remember anymore. Your character doesn't remember.
Yeah, so note taking can be pretty important for remembering dates, times, names, anything important or significant. You should definitely take notes when you're doing tabletop roleplay.
Yeah.
Forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, so let's dive into the last part of the episode. So we met up at the Elysium. We finally connected with Lindsay, who they hadn't seen in like I guess a whole day it had been really, which seems weird. And yeah, of course, glad we can answer him. So we talked with Lindsay, Lindsay was very hurt and off her game and really strange. Catalina.
He was acting sus as fuck.
Yeah, Catalina made an appearance and sort of awkwardly and mysteriously stared at the coterie from the corner of the room. Nix decided to go and talk to her, and was like, "Can we trust Lindsay?"
I wanna ask you, like, what did you think about that?
Me,
I feel
like me? I was completely thrown off. I was not expecting anyone to approach Catalina.
I knew it.
I was like,
I saw your face, and you're like,
"This is happening."
What?
You want to do what?
Excuse?
No, I wasn't expecting anyone to approach Catalina. People don't typically approach Catalina. But I love it. I love that Nix did. I'm all about it. I love Nix as a character. I really do. I love that she doesn't it's not even the fact that she doesn't understand. It's not like she's just being aloof. It's not that. Like, because she doesn't understand, like, customs of, but she understands social cues. But at the same time, she's like, I know who you are, but I'm not going to, like, let that hold me back from whatever the fuck I'm trying to do right now. And I love that kind of attitude. Like, that's how I am in, like, real life. So I'm like, I'm 100%. Yes.
If I want to talk to you, I'm going to talk to you.
Like, that's how she made it.
Yeah.
She's just so stone cold where she's like, I know who you are, and that's why I'm talking to you.
Yeah. She doesn't do it in, like, a disrespectful way. She's very tactful. And that's what I like about it. So I was very thrown off, but I enjoyed their exchange. I didn't know what the fuck to say, as you could tell, probably. There were a lot of long pauses.
No, but I again in character for Catalina it makes sense because
Yeah.
honestly probably like she got thrown off as well. Like
Yeah, she
excuse me,
probably
who the
is
fuck
like,
is
wow,
this
look at this
bitch?
little bitch.
It's like, are you crazy?
Like, but I feel like Catalina would respect you though. That's the thing. Is I feel like
Well,
Catalina
yeah,
would
because she's
respect
like,
that.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too.
You know what I mean? She's just like,
Mhm.
this girl's got something about her. Like,
Some
I can
balls.
respect you.
Mhm.
But I didn't know what I wanted Catalina to reveal. That was what I was struggling with because I wasn't expecting that conversation. And I was like, okay, Catalina's probably not going to reveal a whole lot anyway.
Mhm.
But how do I
No, I
do
think like
this
the mo. Oh,
tactfully?
boy. Yeah, I know.
And how do I do this with like answering the questions but not answering the questions?
Mhm. Yeah, no, I think like the point that Nyx wanted to come across because it would have been like honestly the first interaction that she actually had with Catalina at this point after all of this shit show happened
Yeah.
is to make it very clear like I role played that she doesn't want to be in the wrong side
Yeah.
of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm just making sure that I'm like where I need to be on the side that I need to be.
Yeah, and I I thought it was funny how you just like flat out was like, "Can we trust Lindsay?" Catalina's like,
Right?
"Wow."
Even I was like, oof,
Um
that's her granddaughter?
and I loved that you were just blunt and were like, "I don't know if can I trust her?"
I mean,
And
she would know, right?
Catalina, I think I feel like I communicated the way I wanted to communicate with Catalina of like I don't know how to explain it. Catalina's like, "Well, why wouldn't we have any?" I said this to the guys earlier when you were gone. When Nyx asked that in Catalina's mind, she's like, "Oh, you don't trust Lindsay? Tell me more." Like that's sort of like
Curious, but
where
not going to want to tell anything.
Catalina's mind went is like, "Well, why wouldn't we trust Lindsay? What do you know that maybe I don't know?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of like what Catalina was trying to get from that conversation of not like, let me reassure you, but, are you picking up on something or do you know some sort of information that can be useful to me? And then her ultimate answer ended up being, I don't see any reason why we can't. Which doesn't say yes necessarily.
Exactly
you know what I mean?
And that's exactly what Nyx like pointed down in her like red Sharpie.
Yeah.
It's like we might be able to, but it's not 100% sure.
Yeah.
So be careful.
Yeah.
With Lindsay. Yeah.
And that's sort of like Catalina's thought process is like, well, I mean, I don't necessarily see any reason not to, but ... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like that approach was the approach that I wanted to have for her. I didn't want her to be like 100% yes or 100% no.
Yeah.
I wanted her to sort of float into the middle and be like, I guess we'll see. Not necessarily discrediting Lindsay, because she wouldn't necessarily do that. But also she wouldn't blindly defend someone who she didn't 100% believe in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was an interesting moment. And all of that thought processing had to happen in like a matter of moments.
And that Ivy is what we all need to deal with, because when like we were dealing with the next situation,
we were all shocked silent.
Yes.
when it was happening, it had to be fast. It's a fast thing. Like Jenna was like, okay, this is happening now. This is happening now.
It's
And
happening.
you're like, I need to do
brain,
something.
brain, process.
Yeah. Freeze, brain, freeze.
Yeah, so that's the thing is there's a lot that goes into this mentally, which is why most of the time I'm completely drained afterwards.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
yeah, I just took like 5 minutes to process Catalina's thoughts. I didn't have that luxury in that moment of doing that. I had to think and answer and do it in a way that would make sense to Catalina and make sense to what I wanted to actually reveal. So it's a lot to juggle and gamble with at that moment. Can't spend 30 minutes rewriting how that scene would go. Exactly. So bring in the old internet dial-up processing. That awful like dial-up sound. Kids will never know.
They never know. They will never understand.
I don't miss that sound, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm happy. So they finished up their conversation with Lindsay, who was acting very strange and like seemed to be being monitored by Catalina, which is something that has never happened in front of you guys. Lindsay's always on her own doing her thing. Then after they wrapped up, Lindsay was basically like, we don't have any more leads on these people. We know who they are, but we don't know where they are. So we need to like do some recon, but that's going to take time. So maybe in the meantime, like let's focus on finding Lev and seeing what's going on with Lev. Because at this point, no one had heard from Lev and nobody knew where he was. So she gave them a couple of addresses to go to. One was a safe house and one was her residence. So she was like, go check these places, see if maybe he went to one of these places and has kind of been there on his own, healing and doing his thing. So they went to the safe house first, which ended up being a like castle motel, which was super cool, called Margaret's Inn. Which they had this whole discussion about it being named after her mom and whatever, and Colette's like, yeah, cool story, let's go inside, like, don't care. And that was kind of funny because I feel like the guys were like, oh my god, like, oh, I felt like they were like having this big moment, and Colette's like, yeah,
Nope, sorry,
cool,
dude.
like she named it after her sire, big deal, bro. Let's go inside and check this place out. So they went inside and it was just a hotel room. It did have a ward, a green glowy ward on the ground, which Sparta wanted to destroy. Sparta wanted to destroy everything in this house the entire time they were in there for no reason
Pretty
at all.
much.
Rude. Colette went into the bathroom and followed the instructions she was given to tap the soap and turn the faucet on and do all these things. And it opened what we were calling the Chamber of Secrets.
Yes.
Because the
So
sink and part of the wall went down into the ground and revealed some stairs that went down. There were stairs in this Chamber of Secrets. I think we ended up saying like secret Chamber of Lies or something. Chamber of Lies.
Chamber of Lies.
But it was super cool. So they go down into this little bunker safe house. Also, when it was activated, these steel, like, kind of a steel wall type thing came down, blocking the door. So they were, like, essentially locked in here and no one could come in. So they went down into this house. Nyx was distracted basically the entire time because there was a grand piano in there. So she went and was playing the piano while everyone was sort of looking around. Colette, Sparta, and Alejandro found an armory which had all sorts of weapons. They found a crossbow that was made by the same oh my god, what are their names? Purist, the Purist. And they were looking at that, and there was, instead of fire bullets, there were fire arrows. And they kind of played around with it a little bit, because when they first picked up the arrow, it wasn't hot, and they were like, interesting. So Colette fired it, and then they touched it again, and it was hot. So it was just this little cool thing. They played around in the armory. And then they were like, why does Lindsay have this? I don't know. It's more speculation. And then
the bookcase.
Yeah, Sparta again was determined to just destroy everything to find Lev, as if Lev was hiding from them. And they found there was a wall that looked a little bit strange. It looked worn to Colette, so she was like, I think this bookcase moves, so let's try to figure out if there's a key somewhere, maybe one of the books. So Sparta just started throwing all the books everywhere and making a mess, and finally it opened into a bedroom. And I think even then, I don't remember what he wanted to destroy. He wanted to destroy something. And Colette's
I think that was
Lev.
the only thing after that.
No, because it was when we were in the bedroom. Something happened. He said something. I can't remember what it was. And Colette was Lev isn't hiding in a drawer somewhere. He's a huge dude. We would have found him by now. He's just not in this house. We don't need to destroy everything in this house to make sure he's not here. He would be in plain sight. It's okay. We don't need to destroy Lindsay's safe house. He's just not here. So then they came out of the book or the bedroom, and that's where Ivy was talking about fixing the books and everything. Crow Lady in all of the places with the supplies. There's 50 Crow Ladies. They're all just hello.
Oh, hell no.
I see you have found your way to me. They're just standing there waiting.
This way, traveler.
Just looking at them and stepping backwards, very slowly, and being wait, fuck this shit, I'm out.
I've seen this in movies before.
Yep, seen this movie before. Gotta go.
Yep. Gotta go now.
So they didn't find anything at the cool Chamber of Lies. They got back upstairs and didn't know how to get out, which was funny because Lindsay didn't give them instructions on how to get out of this place. So Colette mimicked the instructions in the bathtub that she did on the sink, and it worked. And that was apparently the key to get out. So they left this place and they headed to the second address, which was Lindsay's residence. And they started to investigate the area and everything. I believe at this point they sort of got split up. Colette and Alejandro were on the side backish of the house. Nyx and Sparta were in the front. And Colette and Alejandro smelled blood. And eventually the other two did as well. They smelled blood coming from this garage that was next to the house. So we opened the door, and there was blood everywhere, all over the walls, all over the floor and everything. And Lev was laying on the ground, unconscious. Then they went in and found that Lev had some weird contraption on his neck, and it was glowing, and the longer they kind of stood there, was pulsating. I think it was orange or yellow or something, I don't know.
It was
Yellow.
orange.
And
Well, it started as yellow.
it was getting more and more.
Yeah, it started as a glowing yellow, and then it started blinking like orange, like a bomb.
And then it like got faster and faster and faster.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, we have to get it off. We have to get it off. And Nyx grabbed some bolt cutters and went to cut them off. And it seemed to have activated, either that activated or it was time activated. We don't know. And it decapitated him. And Lev died. So that happened. On the wall in the garage, it was written in blood, every debt requires collateral. So that was sort of the message that was left behind with Lev. So Lev passed away. And I know, Lev died. Sorry, guys. Everyone cried. It was sad. Then everyone showed up because Colette made a phone call to Penelope or Ashley, one of them. I don't know. I think I distinguished it, and told them to go and get Lindsay and tell them to come here. And so then Catalina, Imani, Lindsay, Penelope, and Ashley showed up with a bunch of guards. And then a few minutes later, Leo and Lizzie, who Leo is Lev's sire, they showed up and Leo and Catalina had a private conversation, and then they ended up leaving, not before Lizzie almost ripped Penelope's head off, because
that was scary.
That was scary. She thought that Penelope was responsible for whatever happened to Lev, because she's the last person that sort of knew where he was. So she ended up grabbing Penelope and holding her up in the air and screaming in her face. And yeah, things could have got bad, but they didn't. And then everybody went home. These two went on a drive. Nyx and Sparta went on a drive. Everybody sort of went home, and that's how we ended the episode. It was after Lev died. Cheers, cousin Lev. Yeah. Who did it? Kill them.
Well, we don't know. I mean, we can speculate who it is, obviously. But we don't know exactly how it happened or who did it.
Or even what the device was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was some weird medieval device. Somebody who hates vampires created that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Torture device.
Oh, yeah. That's no fun.
Not a normal device for sure.
Nope.
So yeah. Thoughts? Comments?
Oh, it was so sad.
Yeah, it was pretty sad.
Just because even outside of the actual episodes, just all of like the text RP that I've done has been with Lev. So both in character and out of character, I was like, oh no. I didn't realize I had gotten so attached to him outside of character too. So I was like, damn it. And it definitely shook me there for a second.
Ivy, I think Lindsay touched on it afterward. Lindsay made a comment. And I hope that everybody got the impression that I was trying to give with Lindsay. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if it translated well. But the message that was sort of delivered with what happened to Lev was every debt requires collateral. So clearly someone is indebted to someone. And that was a maybe warning sign, something along
Like,
those
we need to pay.
lines. Yeah, it's time to pay up. And we're going to,
And you haven't, so
yeah,
we're
so
gonna start clearing some shit.
we're going to start collecting collateral.
Mhm.
Yep. And because it was Lev and Lindsay and Lev are so close, it implies that Lindsay owes somebody something big.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, yeah. Oops. That's why
I knew that Lindsay was sus as fuck. See? Yeah,
that's
Lindsay was
why Catalina was cold shoulder Lindsay. This is your mess, clean it up. I don't know if you guys caught on to that, but that's basically what Catalina communicated when she left. She's like, yeah, handle your shit. Catalina very much knew what was going on.
Yep.
Stay away from Lindsay or you might die. Why would she know that? Wait, what? Why would she know what? And who is she? Maybe Lindsay pushed a few too many boundaries.
He just has 10/10 intuition. I think Nyx got weirded out by the whole August and Lindsay like weird connection that then like fucking Imani was being weird about, and then like Catalina was like, Imani shush, and since then like Nyx is like, I don't know, there's some fishy shit happening here that I don't like. I don't like the sounds of it. I don't know. I'm like, and then now with again the depth that has been taken upon like freaking Lev, and who is Lev like under like working under fucking Lindsay.
Yep.
Like, hello. And I guess like that happened, the conversation with Catalina happened before we went to the Chamber of Secrets. But if Nyx has this, because I guess like everybody was like very fucking like distressed. But one thing that she's gonna bring up if she sees Catalina again is the fire arrows in that safe house, and being like, I don't know, we found these.
Does Nyx know?
Oh no, I don't know.
No, we
She was
didn't
at
tell
the
you.
piano. I don't think
fuck,
anyone told
I was
her.
pianoing it up.
I was
Goddammit.
pianoing.
We were the ones
I
playing
was
with the fire arrows.
pianoing.
Yeah,
We
and
never
I
talked
don't
about it.
think anyone mentioned it after they got out of
No.
the room. They just moved on with their lives.
I forgot about
I think
that.
there was like some speculation, and Colette was kind of like, just because she has this doesn't mean she's working with them. Like, what if she encountered them at some point and like took it from them, you know?
Yep, and still
That was sort of because they were, the assumption was made that the purist attacked Colette in the woods. And she was like, yeah, but we don't know who that was. We don't know if that was the purist. It could have just been somebody that had their weapons. You know what I mean? Their weapons could have been confiscated by anyone. Because if you think about it, like for instance, in LA by Night, they have some Inquisition weapons like that are like fire guns that have like some kind of fire, something happens. It's a little different than what I made, but he uses that gun in his Victor. So they confiscated that from other people. So it's like whoever attacked you guys in the woods could have just taken those weapons from the purist, like we did.
True.
You know, we took them from them and gave them to Lindsay. So I'm assuming if somebody interacted with them in the past, it would make sense that Lindsay would wind up with those weapons, because that's probably who they would turn them into. That was sort of Colette's sort of like, I don't know, maybe this is the reason. Playing devil's advocate, so to speak. But yeah, so Another thing to consider is, I mean, well, obviously everything points to Lindsay because Lindsay's sus as fuck. It might not necessarily have anything to do with Lindsay. It might have something to do with Leo's family and their history in the city. We don't know. Just saying, it's always an option.
I didn't even think of that.
Because Leo has been around for a long time. He's, what do you say, 400 some years old?
Yep.
And who knows? Who knows who that message was really for? But it was clear that Lindsay did seem to understand it at some level. What that means, and if she's the one actually responsible, we don't necessarily know. That hasn't necessarily been revealed yet. Because Lindsay and Lev were really close, and Lindsay is really close with Leo and his family. So maybe there's something entirely different going on here. You know? Just saying. There's all types of options.
Next week, the rest of the Spar's family dies.
Oh no! Do not give her any more ideas.
No. I wouldn't. This sounds so bad. It sounds horrible to say out loud. I probably won't kill characters that, like, won't make an impact. If I'm going to kill someone, it's going to be an impactful situation like Lev's death was. That not just is going to impact one person. It's going to impact the entire group as a whole. Because while obviously killing Leo and Lizzie would impact Sparta, it wouldn't necessarily
affect like Colette or Alejandro and Nick.
And I don't want to just start killing people to like make one character have a fucking hard time. That's just rude. Jenna should have written Game of Thrones season 7.
Oh man.
I'm flattered.
That's fucking funny.
Would have actually been successful. Damn.
Ooh.
Shots fired. That's pretty damn funny. No, I love doing this, and this is like ignited a passion within me that has always been there for writing, but kind of got stagnant over the years. So there's a lot that I want to do, and I'm trying to manifest in my life for my future, and I'm really excited. This stuff is fun, so I can find other nerds that like it too, so and I can benefit off of it. Other nerds that like to participate and other nerds that like to watch. Nerds unite. So yeah, I mean that's the thing with stories is like right now there's so many possibilities, and just because everything points in one direction doesn't necessarily mean that is where it's going. I mean, you got to think about all of the characters involved, all of the people in this city. Like, some of these people have lived here for centuries. So, who knows what is all going on here. And with these fucking twins, because Ashley already revealed the fact that this isn't the first time that they've tried to, like, fuck shit up. So, exactly. What's the story with that? You know, are they back? Do they play a significant role? Is there something else going on in here? Who's not Travis? Who's Isaiah? Like, I feel like we've completely forgotten about Isaiah at this point. Like, Isaiah's like not even been on Colette's mind for like since their vacation. Like, she's like, who's Isaiah? Who? Like,
Isaiah who?
there's been like so many other people introduced and like so many other like twists and turns that it's just like,
At
what
the
is
moment, we're
happening?
seeing pictures of everybody, but
Yeah.
we know absolutely nothing.
Exactly. Everyone's guilty at this point. Especially Colette. Colette's throwing some fucking shade, being like, my girlfriend could be the enemy.
I know. I was like,
Alejandro was taken aback by that. I could tell by, like, he was like, and he did give her a
Hold up.
look, like,
he did give her the look, but the
The-
continuation
yeah.
with that was like, yeah, and you know, like,
Yeah, he's like, yeah, actually, now that
He's
you
like,
say that,
but I agree with you.
I didn't want to be the one that said it. I mean, you said it, not
yeah,
me.
you said- I mean,
You can't be
know.
mad at me. Your girlfriend's definitely guilty.
Yes.
But yeah,
He's like, finally, somebody agrees with me.
he did like give her that a look like, what? Arwen.
Arwen?
Stop that. Oh my god.
I saw her doing the.
Now she's literally just stretching. She's stuck. Arwen, those curtains cost $80. And you're fucking them up. Stop.
She's like, not anymore.
She gets her nails stuck and then she's like, I'm sorry, Mom. She doesn't know what to do at that point. She like gets overwhelmed.
I don't know what to do. Ah, stuck.
Save me, Mom.
Meow. You're so cute. Yes, you are. Mommy feels bad yelling at you. Because you're so cute. Do we have any more questions? Or did we go through them all?
No, we have completed all the questions that were on the thing on the site.
I've completed all of the questions. Now they're $1 curtains, yeah. Do you guys have any more questions in chat for us as we sort of wrap everything up? Oh my god, Arwen, you're being so cute.
Oh, I will say this. Now Nyx blames herself for Lev.
Yeah.
That happened at the end. But Sparta also blames himself.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? If you had
like I said to Alejandro right at the end, like obviously she was thinking about it because she decided to do it. She decided to be the one doing it and trying to do something. So like Alejandro pointed out, there was a 50-50.
Like Alejandro
True.
at that point, you know, with everything going on, he's just like, I've seen this way too many times with the bomb squad. I've seen this shit, and I know, you know, and talking to Nyx about it, like, I know what you're thinking right now.
Yeah, no, and she was, and like that's why like she went out with Sparta to be there for him. But I don't think like, and that's why like I didn't necessarily want to like even RP that, because I feel like they would be silent most of the time.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
like, you know, just like kind of processing their own, but just driving around or whatever. And I think like what she like ended up thinking is like, okay, yeah, I might have been the cause for that, but we wouldn't have never known. If I waited, it might have happened the same, and we would still be here like feeling guilty for not having done anything, like, you know. So
and if
she's
Nick
like, I'm like, she just hopes that Sparta is not gonna like hold it, you know, against her for like having tried to do that and having had that ultimate outcome, you know.
Outside of character for it though, if you hadn't, I probably would have lost fingers because before you jumped in and said you're looking for bolt cutters, I was gonna have Sparta reach his fingers down in and try to rip the collar off. So he would have lost fingers for
Glad
sure.
that didn't happen. They would have grew back. It's fine. You could have put them back on. Hold on, guys. I'm just reconnecting my fingers.
If he literally was just gonna go like this.
I'm trying to pry it off.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I wasn't obviously gonna interject in that moment while you guys were role playing that at the end, but I don't feel, this is just my own opinion. Whether it's true or not. This is my opinion. I don't feel like Nyx is the type to wallow in self-pity.
No, that's why, like, she took it in. She's like, okay, well, I did it. And this is what happened. So it sucks. And I feel bad.
Yeah, well, I think that, like, Alejandro was trying to be like, yeah, you're blaming yourself.
She's not blaming
I don't
herself.
think she's was doing that in that moment at all. I don't think she... I think that she was like... Hold on, let me explain my thought. She was like, yeah, maybe I was to blame, but her point was like, okay, yeah, maybe I caused it, but maybe if I hadn't done anything, like she said, we'd still be in this thing. She's not like sitting there like, oh my God, I have like this shame, I'm the one to blame and blah, 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 blah. Like, no, because I just don't see Nyx being that kind of person. And Nyx is smart enough to be like, this isn't my fault to begin with. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I didn't put that exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't put that thing on him. I didn't want him to die. I was trying to help him. I'm not the cause of this, and I just don't see her like having that thought. And I could see what she articulated was like, I hope that Sparta doesn't blame me. I could see her being more focused on that of like, I hope Sparta realizes that I was just trying to save him, and obviously I didn't want this to happen.
Yeah.
But that's sort of
ultimately that is what like Nyx was suffering the most. It's like having to be the one that possibly caused that to go off
to happen,
and have her like relationship and rapport that she
with
made
Sparta.
with Sparta like go to shit because of this. Because of her choice.
But I also
I
just don't feel like
at the end that he doesn't blame her.
Yeah, I feel like it's not really in his character to blame her either.
Yeah. No, because he's blaming himself, right? Like he's like, no, like if I was
with him, this never would have happened.
This wouldn't have happened.
Right.
Yeah. So, but even just like the fact that, like Nyx reached out and she was like, Sparta, do you want to go on a ride? I need to go on a ride. Do you want to come with me? Already like him accepting and going with her already kind of like put that at rest. Yeah. So like she just was there for Sparta at that point. Because if he started hating her or whatever, he probably wouldn't have accepted like a 2-hour car ride, in the
exactly. He'd probably be like, I'm out.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna go to fucking Leo's house or whatever. You know what I mean? Like instead, no, he was like, yeah, let's go on a ride. And I was like, okay, like we can sit and listen to music with the wind blowing and high speeding like around New Orleans and processing our own shit and then get back and try to figure shit out.
Yeah. What were you gonna say in response to that, Mimsy?
I mean, like, Alana doesn't know what Nyx is thinking or anything like that. He's just gathering from his own experiences of working with people in the cops people that blame themselves, and making sure that their mental health is okay. To be honest, because he knows that as a cop, that is one of those things that a lot of cops literally quit their jobs before because the pressure of the mental health within the job. Like, shit, this happened because of me. So that was more what Alejandro was doing more than anything.
Well, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. I was replying in an out of character aspect, like not needing you,
All right.
like that you needed like defend why Alejandro did that. I just
Oh
out
yeah,
of
no, I think
character
it
was
made
like, this is how my brain. Like, I don't think that she would do that. I don't think
yeah.
that she would have
I'm
blamed
not
herself.
I'm not a police officer. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
I don't take things the same way.
Yeah.
Um for her, it's like her entire, like, that's very much like entertainment business. You fail so much. Like, you're trying. You're failing 99% of the time. So if you fuck up, at least you tried. That's like literally the attitude that Nyx has most of the time, and that she will have. Like, she'll try it. She'll try it.
You can't fail at something you never try.
Yeah.
So.
So, like, she's so used to, like, failing in a way. And that's why she succeeded eventually, because she never really stopped failing until she figured it out. So, yeah, she might be a little bit, like, maybe not, like, thinking twice sometimes. Like, again, approaching, like, the prince of a city that is 600 years old and shit, and be like, you know, kind of treating her as her equal. You cray, bitch? Yeah, she cray, because she's like, you know what? Like,
what's the worst that
nothing is
could
gonna
happen
of me, like, thinking about it. Just to go and do it. You don't know what is gonna happen until you do it. The consequences, I'll see what the consequences are after. She is like I guess like a button pusher for sure.
She's a social button pusher.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sparta gains this fashion, and next game the button pushing.
Sparta pushes the buttons that might harm you physically.
Honestly,
she pushes the emotional buttons.
We bonded immediately on, right?
Yeah.
Me and
from the
Nyx
very
and
start.
Sparta, from the very start. Wow. From
the whole
very
countdown.
start. Yeah. Nyx was like, okay,
let's hold each other accountable.
Yeah, I understand. I'm also very, like, impulsive and reactive. So let's look, you know, out. Let's look out for each other, because I see you, you see me. You know, I might be, like, a little bit more, like, insightful as far as, like, picking up on, like, little cues that you might go over Spartacus' head. But aside from that, like, she's very much like him. I think that's why they have, like, a good friendship, because they are similar in that way.
Yeah. Should we push this button?
Yeah. Exactly.
Let's see what it does.
Yeah, they're just not as calculated. They don't spend as much time thinking about all of the outcomes. They're just like, well, I don't really know what the outcome is going to be, so why spend the energy on thinking about it? Let's just fucking do it and see what the outcome's going to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whereas, like, Colette and Alejandro are the thinkers that are let's, maybe this will happen, or this is going to happen. Let's prepare ourselves physically, emotionally. But they're not like that. They just go into it and deal with whatever the fuck happens without a plan.
After.
Let the dice land where they may, basically.
Yeah. Which I feel like we have a good balance in our group of having the thinkers and the planners and the doers. Because planners need doers and doers need planners.
True that.
They only make each other better, in my opinion.
Hell yeah. You gotta have balance. If there's all thinkers, like, nothing will get done. if there's only doers, like it's going to be chaos
All the time.
all
And nothing
the
will get
time.
done.
No.
And then like shit will get possibly more destroyed than done.
Yes. Still thinking about baby fingers. I don't know. Probably. I guess that would be up to the storyteller to determine how long it takes. Probably also
Like-
depends on the limb.
Yeah, I feel like if it's fingers, it's like if you reattach the fingers, they would probably mend on the outside, but they would probably
It would take longer
like
to
finish
mend the bone.
mending in a day, for example.
Yeah.
But like if you have like an arm amputated, you can put it together. It would probably mend on the outside, but the process might take like a few nights
Yeah.
to mend it back completely. If the arm or the extremity is lost, remaking
So
it,
they don't
I
grow
feel
back.
Like
That's the
Yeah, they
difference.
wouldn't grow back.
You
Like
have to
a limb,
actually have that limb and reattach it.
Yeah.
So it's like if I cut off this finger and I lost it, I don't have a finger. But if I cut off this finger and it's right there, I could put it back on and the skin would reattach and it would become my finger again.
Mm-hmm.
So baby fingers aren't a thing, sadly, unless you go cut off a baby's fingers, which is very morbid, and I'm not sure why you would do that.
Oh, that's so creepy. Oh, that would be so creepy.
That would be so fucking creepy.
Why, bro?
No, bro. No.
It's
Not
like, we
okay.
can't be friends anymore.
Yeah, that's a line you crossed. I don't care what my humanity's at. Give that baby his fingers back. You asshole. It's like, got your nose. That brings that joke to a whole new level.
Oh man.
Not
That
so
sounds like a
not so
scary
cute
ass
anymore.
fucking, like chaotic evil character right there. Shit.
Stealing baby parts.
We just entered a horror movie.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, we just went on a whole like fucking
weird
wow,
weird place.
very weird. So because Lev was decapitated, you can't no. So decapitation, fire, and sunlight are like the main ways of like killing a kindred completely.
Yes.
So there's no recovery from beheading.
And when
You
it
literally turn to ash.
yeah,
You
and
dead
when you
forever.
die, your body disintegrates into ash because that's what happens. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
I
think how I was doing it is like very old vampires that like technically would be ash,
yeah,
because their body would be
decomposed by
beyond
this point.
decomposition. But if I feel like if Nyx died, she would probably just be like a rotten corpse or something like that, rather than like complete ash. But that's how I was playing it, because again, like it doesn't really give you like a reasoning or anything like that at all.
It's all up to interpretation, like everything.
It's all interpretation. You can make it whatever. In my lore, it was just like as older you were, like you were probably going to become a pile of ash. But if you were just turned a few days ago, your body wouldn't necessarily. It's like goals.
It would just be like a rotten body.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like goals. If goals like stop taking like the Sire's blood, they will age up to the actual age that they are at. So like if they're past like human age, they will die immediately and shrivel up into like a body. So but if they had been like, I don't know, goals for like 10 years, they would just gain 10 years immediately. So like that's how I was looking at it, like when I killed like vampires. If they were like very old, they would just like crumble in ash. If they weren't, they would just be like, I don't know, several stages of decay as far as body is. I felt like that was a little bit more fun and a little bit more complicated for people to like get rid of like a younger vampire's like body rather than like a older vampire's body.
Then they have a body to get rid of.
Yeah, they would actually have to like get
That's
rid of the
clearly not
skeleton
human.
or like the cadaver and stuff. Yeah.
I actually have a question for the viewers.
Ooh. Okay.
So with all of the shit show that's been going on, who do you guys think is actually the bad person?
Like ultimate bad person within hours? Like
Mm-hmm. Who's causing all this shit? Like who's a rogue?
Who's the super villain?
who's the double triple agent?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm wondering. I
I don't
mean,
want to get stuck in like the perpetual like obsession over Lindsay. But she knew Violet. She was
mm-hmm.
like, I have information and I always try to like RP it, and Jenna's like, Felice, you don't know that.
True.
But out of character, Lindsay fucking met with Violet or like talked to her on the phone or whatever. They're like friends or some shit.
Yep. Violet. So out of character, I'll tell you guys this because I feel like it's kind of not fair for everyone else not to know. Out of character, when we were doing our role playing for the vacation, I was doing text RP with Finn, and I threw a little nugget in there where Violet showed up to visit Lindsay at her bar during y'all's vacation. So, yeah. Lindsay knows very much. Lindsay said that in character. Actually, was it Lindsay who said that?
No,
Who
Lindsay
said
did, 'cause
that?
we were talking about it with Vincent being in the dungeon with Lindsay.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, I know who they
and
are.
mentioned Violet.
Yeah, and she's like,
yeah,
I
they
know who
are.
Vincent.
Vincent was like in our prisoner for ever.
Yeah, like, do you really think I wouldn't know who these people are?
Yeah.
She's like, I know who these people are. Don't know enough about all of the characters, but Lindsay is definitely involved, and I think the twins are part of a bigger conspiracy.
A bigger conspiracy. I'm still like fixated because like again I have like I had that little nugget of information, and again the fucking August and afterwards, and I'm like, bitch, like you, and then the depth with Lev, like I'm still like pissed. I'm like,
and that's where the interesting thing is as well, like Lev and how, because Penelope was the one who actually called for Lev. Well, was supposed to be taking care of that.
well, she was supposed to arrange a ride.
She didn't physically take him.
She didn't physically
wouldn't
take him because she was with us.
But she could be
She wasn't with you guys, by the way.
Mm-mm.
You guys
She
left,
was at Colette's
and she
house.
stayed at Colette's house with Ashley and Lev, and was like, yeah, I'll take care of it.
Oh yeah, in that portion. But then like she was with us at night.
Later, yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the night she was. But there was a period of time that she wasn't with you guys. I feel like there's some real old beef the twins are involved in, and you guys involving yourselves is causing a lot of death because it's trying to be covered up as you guys are uncovering stuff.
It could be.
Mm-hmm.
It could be.
Very possible. I don't feel like Penelope was involved with Lev's death. I feel like she sent him out in a car, and the car possibly got hijacked and he was taken that way. Because I don't see Penelope physically taking Lev to Leo's, especially being Penelope. So, but I don't like, she's had her mind messed with, obviously, but I don't think it was her. I think that he was jumped by either the twins or somebody, like, for the debt. but I don't think that would be on Penelope, if that makes sense. I feel like he was just taken from the SUV or whatever that she sent to him. I could be wrong though.
Again, I don't know where Ashley was, but I don't see her getting involved with it. And if Penelope was with her, even that like gap of time where we weren't together, you know, I just assumed that they were together, which is probably dumb because I mean, oh my god, cute. Because I mean, obviously they're two different people. Like it's Penelope and Ashley. They're very different.
Yeah.
But you know, I didn't even think about that because I was like, yeah, Penelope is with Ashley. Like Ashley's not gonna get like her shit. Like she's not even gonna try to mingle in this situation anyway. So they're fine. I was like, it's not them, right? But honestly, like I said before, at this point, I trust no bitch. Like literally, the only people that, like Alejandro was saying, the only people that I trust right now, it's our group.
Very true.
Because we have been together. Like we are accountable for each other for pretty much most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have, you know, we know where everybody is and has been for the entirety of this time.
And even in moments where their minds have been messed with, there's been at least two others that have seen the other side of it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always been someone that's seen like the truth, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it's not like everyone's been in the dark.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, Penelope was so mad at Lindsay. What are you referring to with that?
No, that was Lizzie that was mad at Penelope.
It's Lizzie, not
Lindsay.
Yeah,
Lindsay.
Yeah, it's different.
Lizzie was Lev's sister.
Basically sister.
/ maybe mom. Because it gets weird. Lizzie and Leo are dating. But it's weird when you start throwing like family dynamics in there, it gets confusing. But yeah, Lizzie is the one who is mad.
And Lindsay is.
It sounds a lot though, like
similar,
yeah. Yeah, Lizzie is the one who attacked Penelope.
Yeah.
And then beated her against the wall.
Yeah, and Penelope wasn't the one who was mad. Lizzie was, and Penelope didn't say anything. She didn't say a word that entire time.
I mean, it's like we said, like right now, I think the quarter is as close as ever when it comes to trust, because I don't think any of the characters trust anyone on the outside at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think honestly, of the people, like Nyx feels the most comfortable, quote unquote, with, and like, okay, like obviously you're not involved in this, is Catalina herself. Imani, because Imani is always so close to Catalina. Like I mean, if it's Imani at the end, I'm gonna be fucking shook as fuck, because like she's the closest person to Catalina. I would be super shooketh, honestly.
It's Ronaldo. Ronaldo confirmed bad boy.
But you know, like those two, and then our coterie. Like the rest of the people could totally be involved, like by choice or by manipulation. Because let's not forget, even if, you know, like for example, Penelope is involved, like or whatever, maybe she had a trigger implanted in her brain. Impossible to like freaking see anywhere.
There's nothing you can do about it.
But yeah, Catalina for sure is 100% non-sus. Imani, I would say like 95% non-sus.
What 5% makes you sus of her though?
The whole Ronaldo in the barn, I think that Imani was in the barn.
Oh.
and he was acting really weird. And all we
Ronaldo
did
is
was
sus.
speculate. We don't know what actually was going on in there. We were just speculating. So that's where the 5% comes from.
For I think Catalina, I don't see her as sus, but could always be.
I don't know
cover-up
what Catalina would have
because-
to gain from this. She would have everything to lose.
I know, right?
It
Yeah,
would
it's
make
her city.
it would make no
Yeah.
in my opinion it would make no sense for Catalina to be involved. Like why?
No, that's
Are
exactly.
you bored?
It's her city.
Like why are
Like,
you
literally, like they are
I'm bored.
fighting her
for her city? So it doesn't make
Like,
any
she
sense for
would
her to
legit lose her city. Then just give the city to the twins. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
And
it
just
wouldn't
leave.
make any sense, and just fucking leave.
Go to
Like, I
Cabo.
don't. Yeah. But so
unless
that's why,
she
like,
just truly was bored and wanted some drama, but I just don't see Catalina being that type.
no.
But yeah,
I feel like
But-
I don't
doesn't
think
have time
Catalina
for
has
on-
anything to gain from
Yeah.
any of this. She has everything to lose.
But then again, then you look at the rest, like Ronaldo. He's being interesting.
That's just Tremere, though.
Penelope.
Yeah, that's
Penelope.
just weird Tremere shit.
They were literally in the middle of doing Tremere shit. Like, they aren't gonna be like, "Oh yeah, it's a potluck. Come on in. Did you bring your side? What
Yeah,
you got?
no, and,
Potato
like,
salad?" Like,
Pointed it out like a few times, but like for the newer people like Ivy and Phoenix and stuff, like the Tremere clan are one of the most tightly knitted
and
clans.
secretive.
They usually will never share any information about their practices with anybody else that is not a Tremere or in their family, because there are different families of Tremere as well. So they are extremely secretive clan. Like for us to be outside while they were doing like a ritual or whatever, that obviously he would have been like, no, like you can't look inside because you might, like, catch some of our secrets and shit like that. They're the only vampires that don't have an original progenitor coming from Cain himself. They are lab made. They're pretty much lab made vampires. They were mages when they were human. They experimented with vampires until they figured out a way to turn their human mage into a vampire kindred mage. Because what was happening is usually even if you get embraced as a mage into a vampire, you will lose your magic. So they had to experiment. Do some like shit to like actually maintain their magic once they got turned. So that's why all the secretive shit too. So yeah, it makes sense. I don't want to believe that Ronaldo is involved because that would be
I don't either.
You're just emotionally connected.
I am
Not
emotionally
Ronaldo.
connected to Ronaldo, and I want to be his friend, and I want to go like have fake tea with him and talk about things.
Fake tea.
Yes.
That's adorable. Ivy, so to answer your question, yes and no. There has been a lot of there's been a lot of subtle things that have been revealed in conversation or actions that have happened that could point you in the right direction, but it's not enough to make a definitive like, yes, this is it, because that's boring. I don't want you to know who's involved, and I don't want you to know who the ultimate bad guy is until the grand finale, when the ultimate bad guy is revealed and why and their intentions are revealed. But yeah, there have been little nuggets of information that has been dropped along the way.
You're not wrong, Ivy. It definitely makes for one hell of a plot twist. But
I mean, see with Lev, am I right? Like, holy
yeah.
shit.
But I feel like if it was Ronaldo, because he's been gone from the coterie for so long, it definitely wouldn't affect me as much. It would
No, I
definitely
feel
affect
like
her.
honestly, it would just like I feel like honestly only Nyx would really care about like
Well,
Ronaldo.
Colette
being,
would
like,
probably be a little disappointed.
Sparta would actually care, but I wouldn't be as emotionally connected to him as that.
The ultimate
I feel like
bad guy
if it was
Ronaldo.
Colette, like if Colette were to die all of a sudden, I think that would affect all of us.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, what did you say?
Fucked.
I said if like Colette were suddenly to die as like from one of the NPCs, that would probably affect all of us a lot.
I don't think I can kill Colette. I don't think I have it in me.
Yeah, please don't.
It's like killing myself. I'm sorry, you must go.
You'll see us all start crying on stream again.
But yeah, so the thing is like there has been stuff that like I want to like give bigger pieces, but it would reveal too much. And obviously, like if the coterie wasn't confused about what was going on, then it wouldn't be as enjoyable for everyone to roleplay, and like the story wouldn't be as enjoyable for everyone if it was just like, oh yeah, this is who it is, and like they already knew that, you know what I mean? But the fact that they don't know that, and they don't know who's involved and who's involved willingly and who's not involved willingly, then it like makes it all really,
it keeps us on our toes,
interesting. And yeah. But sure, if you want to go back and watch all 11 episodes before Sunday.
Is that like 100 something hours?
Maybe is it even possible at this point? Well, yeah, I feel like maybe. I feel like our overlap. No, I mean just like with what's available, because I didn't upload last week, which I was supposed to. I was like, whoops. So I don't know what's still available on. You have everything available on the channel, right? I don't know.
I think I have everything. I haven't like put it in the collections, the last 2 or 3, but everything until like the 5th or 6th episode are there.
Yeah, so
but 2 or those like last ones that I put on have that audio problem. But then you have it on in the YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Already. Yeah. So yeah. Between like the stuff that I have on my channel and like the YouTube, everything is out there for you guys to catch up, I think.
Well, I'm glad that, thank you for the compliment, and I'm glad that you enjoy the stories. I feel an immense amount of pressure to make all of this end in a way that feels, what's the right word? I don't know.
Satisfying?
Satisfying, I guess. Which is really hard. And like I said earlier, all of the questions are probably not going to be answered. Everything is not going to be revealed. There's too much. We would have to continue on for like a longer than I'm planning for that to be possible. But that can just be stuff that we talk about out of character. The group role plays later and stuff like that. We'll have a stream at like our final podcast. We'll have a stream that is just answering everyone's questions and revealing everything that was not revealed. I'm not going to be like the writers of Lost, where we end the season and you're more confused than when you started watching Lost. because there were
Right.
so many new questions in the last season and you were like, wait, what? Which way is up? I'm not going to do that to you guys. There will be some ending, but there will probably still be a lot of answers that go on, or questions that go unanswered, because I don't have enough time to answer all of them. Sadly. But that is fine, because then that gives us things to do in the next season.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And also, not to mention the rebranding of everything.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun to show you guys.
I wrote, I'll put it to you this way. Right now, my notes for the grand finale are 5 pages.
Oof.
I wrote those 5 pages either 3 or 4 weeks ago. I have edited those 5 pages multiple times. Almost every session, I go back in there and I change something. And I'm like, wait, no, I can't. I want to do it like this. No, I want to do it like this. Wait, this person's going to do this. Or so who knows? Who knows who the real bad guy is at this point? Maybe my notes have it, but maybe I'll make a last minute decision and make it somebody that I just didn't actually plan on making it, because it'll be more exciting. How many more episodes approximately? I don't know. What is this? 11?
This last one was episode 11. This next one is going to be 12. So 3 months, guys. It's going to be XP time after
Yeah.
the next one.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to know when the grand finale is going to be. We decided anywhere between 12 and 15 episodes.
Yeah, I feel like from next episode on, it's probably going to be a few. I'm counting maybe like another few weeks, maybe 3 weeks, depending on like how this episode 12, like I have a feeling. My intuition tells me that we're like,
Yep.
right
I
at
think
the-
this next episode will determine it.
yeah. I feel like this next episode is going to tell us that if it's going to be like the one before the last one or the one before the last.
Yeah.
And then and
So-
then all of a sudden, in true anime fashion, we are 300 episodes in and no ending.
Yeah.
No.
We go through like 60 episodes of filler. Oh, by the way, here's the grand finale.
Yeah, there you go.
That will not
Surprise.
be happening, because that is exhausting for my Virgo brain. Can't handle that. Will the finale be much longer episode? Probably not.
We already go over our scheduled time every episode, so
Yeah. But honestly, to be fair,
No,
we've been taking
we
like
don't.
a little longer breaks, which
Breaks,
is
yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so like I feel
Ren-
like at the end of the day,
Hell
like
no.
we take like an hour break like each time. And
Sounds
I think
exhausting.
like that's what has been pushing the time lately, like a little
Yeah.
bit more. But I think it's better too, because like like we can eat, we can chill for a little bit, like gotta decompress.
Yeah, because I
Okay.
record and I have my little time ticking, and that's what I pay attention. And that's what I do my breaks on. And it's always roughly around 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So our actual, like, the time that we're in role play
Yeah, that
is
we are
a
in
2 hour
roleplay.
segment. Or segments? I just made my own fucking word. I don't fucking know, dude. I teach English.
Yeah, I think
words are hard.
No, but yeah, I think we are like 2 or 3 episodes from like the last big one.
I
That's how I
can
feel.
neither confirm nor deny.
She's confirming, guys.
Oh. Okay.
But
Surprise! Next episode is the end.
Yeah, so it might honestly be next week, or it might be like episode 13.
We'll just have to see. Find out next week on
See.
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z.
Like, you don't know how long the Super Saiyan fucking transformation is gonna take. 2 or 3 episodes. Dude, but it was like that though. Like whenever he started like transforming again, it was like a 4-episode transformation. I'm like, holy fucking shit! Like, are we here like talking about philosophy right now while you're transforming? What the fuck?
Like, we get
The
it.
world is ending.
So much is happening.
Jesus Christ.
The next 2 episodes is just the whole coterie yelling outside of the SUV, like hyping themselves up. Ah! Let's go get the bad guy.
This for 2 hours. Jesus. What's been each of your favorite moment for your own characters so far of all the episodes? Wow.
It's so hard.
That is so hard to answer.
I'm gonna think for a minute. I can answer this.
It could be good or bad.
I don't know if I could answer that like on the spot.
I think my favorite moment for Colette out of everything she's done was the speech she gave on like night 2. Which you weren't here for, sadly. She gave a speech in front of everyone, and I feel like it sort of encompassed who Colette is in a really good way, and it showcased her as a character. I think that was probably my favorite moment for her.
That is a tough one.
This is such a tough one because, like, for my character, like, she was so out of her element for, like, the majority of the RP until, like, a few episodes ago. True. Where she's finally owning up to her power and who she is. So, like, I feel like all the nuggets of her getting to where she is right now, like, have been important. Like, all the times that she proved everybody else wrong. That she can do it, that she's strong, that she's resilient, that she, you know, is a lot more than, like, the new girl that is stupid and asks questions. Like, I feel like those were all, like, moments that I really liked. Like, the mech truck incident, the almost 3 beheadings of, like, you know, the rogue Malkavians that had her, like, brother that she single-handedly pretty much took care of. Like, the fact that, like, she freaking, like, stopped Travis from going away, even though, like, at the end, like, he escaped anyway. And this whole thing happened. Like, all these little moments in which, like, she proved herself that she's still, like, the same Eden Nyx that she was before, just different, and that she still has that power within herself to, like, you know, do what it needs to be done to prevail and to continue. I think, like, I like the progression and the things that she has experienced to get her to where she is right now, which is a much more confident and, like, badass Nyx, which is a lot more closer to who she was as a human than, like, these past, like, 10 episodes, you know. So yeah, I think, like, that, I know that it's not a specific moment, but I think that my favorite thing in this RP has been that.
I think mine's gonna be something similar. Like, I love the whole progression where Sparta was just a button pusher. I still love pushing the buttons, but at the same time, he's also grown to where he's trying to be like the mediator in the group and bring people together. And he's a little more thoughtful. I mean, he'll still push a button, but he's a little more willing to listen to the group, to not push the button, basically. But at the same time, he goes out of his way to try to bring everybody together. And just the progression from reckless fool to a little more thoughtful fool is probably my favorite part of it. It's almost like a growing up story for him.
Mm.
But yeah, I would say that's my favorite.
What about you, Mimsy?
Um, I'm kind of debating because like one is the blood bond took me by. Is actually one of my favorite moments, but also when he actually showed emotion. When he actually broke down. Mm. Yeah, I think it's gonna be the night where he broke down. Actually,
When Colette was hurt? Is that what you're referring to?
yeah.
Oh. Being vulnerable is great.
It sucks. Oh boy.
I think that too. I think vulnerability, yep, is important. Painful, but
Yeah,
great.
even because there's no progression, and then like it's just like one thing only. Like, and people are not like that.
Yeah.
Like, people are multiple things. Like,
It helps you grow.
there is a reason behind things, but also, like, you know, those things are always changing.
Something will penetrate a feeling at some point, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't have like a stone face all the time. Something is
Yeah.
gonna happen that will make you break.
Yeah.
You got to be open.
Open.
Opan.
Exactly.
Well, I think that's a good spot to leave things. We had lots of good questions today once again. You're being so thoughtful in your answers all the time. Aw, yay. Yeah, we do love it. And that's why we do this, so that we can, you know, connect with you guys, talk to you guys, and talk about all of these things. And I'm sure it makes us love it too. I love when we get to like hear each other's thoughts and hear your thoughts and things like that.
And everybody just comes together and talks about nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
That we all love.
Talking about nerdy things. Talk nerdy to me. I used to have an alert for that. Have you ever heard that song? It's a parody to Talk Dirty to Me.
Weird Al Yankovic.
So my mind completely blanked. Join us for the next session. And yeah, we are nearing the end. So who knows what all is gonna happen next. But I'm excited to see what happens and where we go from here. And as we've mentioned before, I think this is it. Yes. We'll spend more time talking about this all in detail, but for anybody new that is lurking out there in the shadows, We are going to be transitioning all of our sessions and podcasts over to the Night Prophecies Twitch channel. We'll start that for our season 2 when we'll take a little break in between when we wrap up this chapter of what we're doing and jump into the next one, and then everything will be in one place for you guys. So go ahead and follow that channel, and we'll I was follower 13. Nice. So satisfying. But yeah, so thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight, and we'll see you on Saturday. I almost said Sunday because it's Sunday for me. But yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Adios.